in California, they passed the first of its kind law to consider reparations for slavery. So we talked about we talk about reparations, but reparations hurt Bernie Sanders because he was not for reparations. There have been a lot of talks about reparations, and I think we're going to have someone come on the show and really talk about what reparations actually look like, how that breaks down, why it seems so overwhelming. How do you determine who is actually eligible for that?
That's where I get confused of who, because they say, well, you know, old school, they say just a drop and you black. It's a lot of drops. So how do we accurately, I'm all for reparations, don't get me wrong. I just don't know how it gets disseminated or to who or what. Because all black people weren't necessarily slaves. Not because some people escaped and did whatever. So I just don't know. I just don't know what that looks like. And then do we base it on what is like 23andMe or Ancestry.com? And because we didn't have records, we weren't allowed to read. So not like we have. That's the same thing with even looking for. I was trying to find my language in Native American, like my Native American culture, which I then found out was a farce. Thank you, 23andMe, ruined my life. But we don't have written records. So there are far more white people who can claim their Native American ancestry because they were able to write shit down and we weren't. So I don't know how we do that.
Yeah, no, it's that's one of the concerns, that there will be white people who can justify that they have black people in there. I mean, when you think about Essie Mae, Strom Thurmond's daughter, who was the daughter of a slave that of a white politician in this country who actually went to the Supreme Court and won. But I mean, just to think about all of the mixing and all of the rape that took place and all of the things that happened, how do we actually determine who's eligible? You know, certainly there are many of us who are descendants of slaves, but our reparations are owed to us from Spain. You know, people are owed by the Dutch owed people in the Caribbean, the French owed people in the Caribbean, and slavery in America is a very specific slavery, and that it should be repaired. You know,
Yes, there has to be something that has to happen. I don't know what it looks like personally. And like I said, 23andMe ruined my life. I realized that I am a white woman and I have not been given the respect as a white woman that I should have been getting this whole time. I am 30% all the whites. It was like, I'm real white, like British, French, and Irish, I believe.
I'm scared of doing a 23andMe because I feel like there's a conspiracy theory that they sell them to the databases for, because we did a story on the Young Turks where there was one of those companies that were doing those tests and they were selling the results to the FBI, and then they were arresting people who were related to people based on DNA. They were capturing some criminals.
Here's the thing, for me personally, I have had so many fingerprints and background checks just being a social worker. So it was nothing. They're not, if they find some criminals, then they're just gonna find some criminals. Like all the criminals in my family about dead by now. So it's like, I'm sure I got 2-3 brothers and sisters out there. I don't know what they're doing. I don't want to find them. That's why I check the no box. Like, don't tell nobody we got the same DNA. Do not. I don't want them finding me. I don't have bail money.